I woke up to the sound of the alarm blaring in my ears. I rubbed my eyes, trying to get rid of the grogginess that weighed me down. As I sat up, I noticed something strange. The room around me was different. The walls were metallic, and there were no windows. I looked down and saw that I was dressed in a white jumpsuit. Panic set in, and I tried to remember how I got here. The last thing I remembered was going to bed in my apartment. Then, everything went black. I couldn't recall anything else. "Where am I?" I muttered to myself. A voice responded from the wall.
"You are on board the Starship Redemption, and we have successfully revived you from cryogenic sleep."
My heart raced as I tried to make sense of what was happening. Cryogenic sleep? Starship Redemption? What was going on? "Who are you?" I asked the voice.
"I am the ship's artificial intelligence, designated as Red. I am here to assist you and ensure your safety during your voyage."
I sat there completely bewildered. My thoughts raced a million miles a minute. What voyage? Where was I going? And why was I in cryogenic sleep in the first place? "Can you tell me what's going on? Why am I here?" I asked.
You were selected as part of a team to explore a new planet. Your mission is to gather data and resources that could benefit humanity. You were in cryogenic sleep for the duration of the journey, which took approximately 100 years. We have arrived at our destination, and it's time for you to awaken.
A new planet? 100 years? This was all too much for me to process. I was overwhelmed with fear and confusion. Red continued.
Please remain calm. The ship's medical team has already prepared you for the awakening process. They have also provided you with a nanobot injection that will enhance your physical and mental abilities to cope with the changes in the environment.
I looked down at my hand and saw a small red dot. That must be the injection Red was referring to. I had so many questions, but before I could ask, the ship's door slid open, revealing a team of scientists and doctors.
"Welcome back to the land of the living,"
one of them said, as they helped me out of bed. I was disoriented and weak, but as I looked around, I couldn't help but feel a sense of awe. The ship was massive, and the technology used to build it was beyond anything I had ever seen. The team explained to me that the planet we were on was called H21, and it was located in a distant galaxy. It was rich in resources and had a breathable atmosphere, making it a prime candidate for exploration. As the days passed, I slowly adjusted to my new surroundings. I was amazed by the wonders of H21, from the bioluminescent flora to the flying creatures that resembled giant dragonflies. The team had already set up a base camp, and we began our exploration, gathering data and resources that could benefit humanity. But things were not as easy as they seemed. The planet was not uninhabited, and we soon encountered a species of intelligent beings that were hostile to our presence. We were forced to retreat to our base camp and fortify it against any possible attacks. It was during one of these attacks that I discovered something about myself. The nanobots injected into me had unlocked abilities I never knew I had. I was faster, stronger, and my senses were heightened. I was able to dodge attacks and fight back against the hostile beings. The team was amazed at my newfound abilities, and they conducted tests to understand the extent of my enhancements. They found that the nanobots had altered my genetic code, allowing me to access abilities that were previously dormant. I was now a superhuman, capable of feats that were once only possible in science fiction. But with great power came great responsibility. The team decided to use my abilities to protect the base camp and continue our mission. I was assigned to the reconnaissance team, tasked with scouting the area and gathering intel on the hostile beings. During one of our patrols, we stumbled upon a hidden underground cave system. It was filled with strange artifacts and symbols that we could not decipher. As we explored deeper, we found a chamber filled with a glowing substance that emitted an otherworldly aura. I was drawn to it, and as I approached, I felt a strange energy coursing through my veins. Suddenly, the substance surged towards me, engulfing me in a blinding light. When I came to, I felt different. My abilities had increased exponentially, and I could sense things that were beyond human comprehension. The team analyzed the substance and found that it was a form of extraterrestrial technology that had the ability to enhance a person's abilities beyond human limits. They dubbed it Hyperion, and it became the focus of our mission. We realized that Hyperion could revolutionize humanity and unlock new frontiers of science and technology. But there was a catch. The hostile beings that we had encountered were after Hyperion as well. They saw it as a source of power that could give them the edge over their enemies. We knew that we had to protect Hyperion at all costs, and we were prepared to fight to defend it. As the days passed, our battles with the hostile beings intensified. We were outnumbered and outgunned, but we never gave up. With every fight, my abilities grew stronger, and I became more attuned to the energy coursing through Hyperion. Finally, we were able to unlock the true potential of Hyperion. It was not just a source of power, but a gateway to a higher dimension of existence. It allowed us to tap into energies that were beyond our understanding, and we were able to transcend the limits of human consciousness. We made contact with an advanced civilization that existed in this higher dimension, and they welcomed us with open arms. They showed us wonders beyond our wildest imaginations, and they revealed that they had been monitoring humanity's progress for centuries. They had seen the rise and fall of civilizations, and they were impressed with our resilience and determination. They explained that they had been waiting for a species to reach a certain level of consciousness before making contact, and they believed that we were ready. They saw in us the potential to evolve into a species that could transcend the physical limitations of our universe and become something greater. As we departed from H21, I felt a sense of awe and wonder. I had seen things that I never thought possible, and I had been transformed into something beyond human. But with that power came responsibility, and I knew that the path ahead would be difficult. The team and I returned to Earth, armed with knowledge and technology that could change the course of human history. We formed a research organization dedicated to studying Hyperion and its applications, and we worked tirelessly to harness its power for the betterment of humanity. Our efforts paid off, and we were able to solve some of the world's most pressing problems. We developed cures for diseases that had plagued humanity for centuries, created sustainable energy sources, and built colonies on other planets. But our work was never done. We continued to push the boundaries of science and technology, driven by a desire to unlock the full potential of our species. And as we looked to the stars, we knew that the possibilities were endless. We had entered a new era of human evolution, and we were ready to embrace it.